Hey guys, we wanted to make a video real quick of some of my favorite tools that I love to use on all projects. No matter what we're doing, I always find myself using these tools. Some of these tools are no-brainers for building a house and other projects. They'll be completely obvious, but there'll be some sleeper tools in here I think that might catch you off guard, might help you on a project, but just something to consider. A drill set. Obviously this is a generic one, an obvious one. I've got an impact here and I guess you just call this a normal drill here. Are must-haves on any project, whether you're driving in a big lag or you're pre-drilling holes for whatever reason. So last year we switched over to the green brand Ryobi. This video is not sponsored in any way. The difference in drills does not necessarily equate to the difference in their sell price. So maybe we'll make another video on that later, but we have decided to go the cheap route. We've had Milwaukee, DeWalt, rigid tools, but for the price point, we're switching over to Ryobi. Next up is any good marker, carpenter's pencil or a marker. I really like the markers. You can use Sharpies, but they kind of die off quicker. I found that these Milwaukee construction markers are really awesome. They mark in dust, and I don't know if they mark when things are wet, but they will outlast a Sharpie any day of the week. Unfortunately, their tips do get mashed in if you press hard, so over time you'll lose the tip of the marker, but you gotta have some of these. On most projects that you're creating something, you're building something from scratch, you're gonna use one of these, a tape measure. Almost always you're gonna need one of these. I have a preferred one. This is actually one you find on Amazon. I don't know the brand, but this thing is awesome. It's my favorite, but it wasn't that great at building a house just because it didn't handle the long links very good and the dirt and debris that is susceptible to measuring tapes. So I would recommend this, but mainly only for like small, maybe woodworking projects. This is really handy. There's a bunch of really neat features you can write on this surface. It's got a pencil sharpener, it's got a normal lock, it's got a quick lock on it. And it's got every single inch has the 1/8, quarter, and 3/8 and 5/8, all those broken down on every single inch on both sides of the tape measure. So it's really hard to get mixed up if you're whichever direction you're measuring.
All right, the wife's going to jump in and give her input on this. Like he said, this is not great for super long, and that's the problem we had, especially when doing the long roof. This is 35 foot, and this is 25 feet, but I really like this one because it's not as heavy.
You really like this one?
And this one doesn't have
Which one do you really like?
I like this one because it's lighter. If I put this one on my shorts, it pulls my shorts down.
Oh, okay.
So you don't want that. And I really like a tape measure with the 8s because I always have to stand there and count the 8s even after all this time. So
sure.
That's my 2 cents.
Used to smaller things. Okay.
That's a joke on you, not on me.
It is. This is the unrated version. Okay. Pliers. Always had a good set of pliers. My favorite are channel locks. These are a massive pair of channel locks. Don't need them this big, but I have actually used these quite a bit. But these are my go-to. I've had these probably since I was in high school. They definitely show, but you can always find a problem to fix with channel locks. All right, a hammer. Gotta have a hammer for projects. This is your typical bargain sale hammer, what everyone's kind of used to seeing. However, when we built the house, I bought a framing hammer, a little bit bigger, and I just kind of eyeballed all the hammers and picked one out, and I have loved this thing. I know there's all kinds of different technical terms for it, of the different things about the hammer, but I just love it. This has been really great. All right, these are not as fun, but they are necessary, but levels, especially when you're creating things, building a house or furniture or anything. To keep things on level, this is a shorter one. You'll need some longer ones and even shorter than this, but you need a good level. We marked this up because originally this level was I guess a bronze brass color, and it kind of blended in with our lumber. And so if we set it down on a stud or a wall, we were finding ourselves we were losing it. So we try to make it a little bit brighter with some tape laying around. But yeah, a level. 5-in-1. This is a great tool for all kinds of purposes. I don't really know all the official things to do with this. There's a lot of funky different tools. Obviously some bolt heads here. But this is a great tool doing anything. Prying, scraping, cutting. This is just a great tool to have on site. All right, this next tool, I was calling it just a pry bar, but I think it's called a cat's paw is the name for it. This is a great tool for prying, pulling nails, separating material. It's just a little bit more of a bite than the back of your hammer, or it can be used in conjunction with it. It's got a little a hammer, I don't even know what you call this, some kind of a press to expose the nail, to pull a nail. But yeah, this was a huge, when we bought this thing, it made our lives a lot easier. This is a little bitty tool. This is called a nail set. This is gonna be for probably more your finished carpentry. If you have a brad nail that's stuck out a little bit, or anything that needs to be punched in, this is a great little tool, great little investment to keep on you. We've used this so much for molding and trim work. Highly recommend nail set. All right, probably my favorite tool out of all these that I've used on across all projects for years now is a knife. Most people think of a knife like this, almost like a box cutter utility knife that has the razor blade like this, but the one I like looks like this. It is a skinnier blade. It's a 9mm snap-off blade, but it's awesome. It's a razor blade. It can flex a little bit if you need to trim something. If the point gets dull, it can snap off to the next one. I think there's probably about 12 snap off points before you got to put a new blade in. It goes in your pocket easier. And if you expose the whole blade, I mean, you get about a 3-inch surface of blade versus like on a box cutter, it's just probably about 1 inch or 3/4 of an inch. They come in all different brands and shapes. They all work good. Just the thing I've always focused on is the 9mm size and the ability to snap off a new blade or a new point on the blade.
Many of those go through a washer, haven't we?
Yeah, I probably have about 24 of these of different colors, shapes, brands laying around. Bottom of the list. So I guess this is not a tool I use every day. This tool belt that I bought from a big box store that you always see framers using, I try to use on the house, is garbage. I don't recommend that tool belt. So I don't have a tool belt. I'm sure they're useful, but I don't recommend it. It just turned into a pocket to hold screws or nails, which is good, but it's just kind of a waste of money. So I would not recommend that, but I'm gonna put it in the list anyways. That has been my favorite tools, not just for building a house. Some are very helpful for building a house, others are just generic all project tools. Hope that's helped. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching.